Is Harry Campbell in the driver's corner or is he in Uber's corner? Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and this is going to be somewhat of a sensitive video, and I'm going to state a few things up front before we get into all of this. And I want to also point these things out because I really want everyone to stick around until the end of this video if they possibly can, because this is going to be a very nuanced discussion we're having. I have to talk about it because it's been coming up a lot, particularly in the live stream chats where, and I was doing one yesterday where people were asking about why wasn't Harry Campbell at the strike, the, LA protest. Where was he? Is he just a corporate shill for Uber now? He's made commercials for them. Maybe he doesn't care about drivers. And you know what? I publicly defended him and said, I wish he had been there. I wish Jay had been there. I wish someone from there had been there, but they weren't, and I don't know why. And I don't know what they think about the strike, but we actually do know what they think about the strike. We're going to look at what they think about the strike, and then I'm going to give my takeaway on it. It should also be noted that I actually am familiar with Harry. We have talked several times. We've written to each other several times, and while I might not agree with everything he does, I do consider him to be a decent guy, so that might affect my critique a little bit, but hopefully I can put together a strong enough defense where you can understand where I'm coming from. But before we talk about any of that, let's have a word from our sponsors, and I chose this episode to be sponsored specifically because it will hopefully make one of the points that I'm trying to make later on all the more strong.
And today's video is sponsored by Mailpranks. Mailpranks is the absolutely hilarious store where you can find all of your prank needs. Their signature items are the prank postcards, which include President Obama fan clubs, thank you for joining the Donald Trump fan club, and little inappropriate gags like this item, which I happen to like, but I don't think I can actually say what it is because I don't want the video to be demonetized. Mailpranks accepts all different kinds of currency and also offers free shipping worldwide. Use the code in the description below to save 20% off your first order.
And here we are at the Rideshare Guy blog. Now, in case you are not aware, you need to have this site bookmarked. Whatever your feelings about Harry is, this is a very valuable source for drivers. This was one of my inspirations. I continue to read it all the time. And this is just a great blog to go to. I highly recommend you write it. But let's look at this article right here. Los Angeles driver pay cuts. Why are drivers striking? A very neutral headline. So right off the get-go, you don't know whether he is for or against the strike. Now, it should be noted that Jay is the one who wrote this article. But Harry here, this guy, he is the owner and founder of the Rideshare Guy blog. He's essentially the high editor. If this blog post goes up, it means he's pretty much in agreement with it because he doesn't have any bosses to answer to. What goes up, that he has to approve it. So by this article being here, I'm assuming that Harry is at least in some way agreeing with what's written. So here's the thing. Very first paragraph after, this. It's Monday morning and my news feed is blowing up. It has been shouting at me about Los Angeles Uber drivers going on strike. And in case you live under a rock, here's why. Uber has decided to do some rate rebalancing, which is Uber's way of saying we are cutting your rates. So right off the get-go, the article stating right now, hey, this is a rate cut. And Uber's just dolling it up a little bit. And then it starts getting, drivers are pissed off and they have every right to be. Uber is lying to the drivers, telling them that the net pay has not changed as they've done in the past. But we did our homework and the net pay has most definitely been cut, and significantly so. I'll share the details below, but here's the email Uber sent drivers in LA. Well, that doesn't sound like an Uber corporate shill. Now, does it? That actually sounds like someone who is in the driver's corner and are as mad that you are getting treated the way you're treated as you are. So here's the thing. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but one of the things I did tackle on is like Uber says that these changes did not have the intended impact, but intended impact for who or for what? What was the intended impact? Drivers are now making less, so is Uber implying that the rate increases made drivers more money and that was a bad thing? Telling drivers their pay is about to be cut is a tough job, but whoever wrote this was clearly taking a page out of Uber's old book when they used to tell drivers that we're going to lower the rates, but magically you'll make more money, which their own study later disapproved. Duh. So, and by the way, it should be noted, I probably should have also mentioned this earlier, they do show my Live at LA strike. That's how I found out about this article. Harry emailed me and said, hey, congratulations, your video is being featured on the blog, which thank you, Harry. I don't know if you're expecting me to make a video about this article and about this topic, but there you go. But they're fair. I mean, they say that the audio is a little rough, which is true. Also, just to let you know, Harry and Jay, on Saturday, there will be an updated video where hopefully some of the audio problems can get fixed out, and it'll be a lot shorter, of course. So here they are talking about, by the way, I love this, how when they were comparing some earnings, the total earnings were 66618. I love that. So they talk a little bit about the pay structure then and now, and LA new, LA old, difference $68.86. Change 10%. 10% less they're making. So there you go. They're doing the math, showing that yes, drivers are losing money. They are stating they are losing money. Here, in a statement issued Friday, Uber acknowledged it changed the rates, but said the company has introduced a Quest promotion that allows drivers to earn bonuses based on the number of rides they provide. Uber has already had Quest in LA, so not sure what they're talking about, but if they meant they increased the Quest bonuses, then I would need to see the specifics of this bonus. At minimum, it would need to cover the $68.86 in addition to the current bonus being offered to a driver. That's, there you go. So that is fair, I think. So let's see here. And while rates were definitely slashed, it wasn't 25%. This is another thing to point out. Because he does a lot of math here and shows that it's not quite 25% because we did get a time rate increase. But he still basically admits that, yeah, you're losing money. So here's the thing. What will Lyft do about the Uber changes? Well, here, time will tell. During the last rate change, Uber took all the heat and then Lyft quietly copied Uber's rate plan. Let's hope for all of us that Lyft stays put and doesn't get as greedy as Uber. Since Lyft has an IPO coming up, I would think they would want to stay out of the spotlight with regards to this incendiary topic. Here's the closing argument, though, and pretty much what's going to be the launching pad for my little rant. Overall, Uber's new rates in LA are bad for drivers. I repeat, overall, Uber's new rates in LA are bad for drivers. If I were a driver in Los Angeles, I would be mighty angry. If Uber tries to pull the same double speak rate balancing here in San Francisco again, I will be wicked fuming mad. It's not good. There is no denying this is terrible news for all drivers. We are not Uber's driver partners. No. Instead, we carry their water until it gets too heavy to carry. But it is not as bad as you might have at first thought. Do your homework, check your numbers, then you will have an appropriate reaction. See things for what they are and what they are not. They say the truth shall set you free. Be free. Los Angeles, I feel your pain. Be safe out there. And by the way, it should be noted that another Uber tuber from Chicago actually has said that he makes more money, because this happened in Chicago, that they got like a mile deduction rate, but they got like a raise for the time. And he says he makes more money. And I have no reason to doubt him, to be perfectly honest. But look at this paragraph. Look at this whole paragraph. Does this seem like something a corporate shill would write? Does this seem like something that suggests that Harry Campbell and the Rideshare Guy blog is not in the driver's corner? No, of course they're in your corner. Do you think Harry started this blog like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a rideshare blog, and I'm going to use it to one day work for this company that might be worth $120 billion. No, he did his homework. He got the information right. He was consistent. He was early. He was honest, and he got his success. That's the roommate. I'm so sorry about that if you heard that. and he deserves his success. Now, that begs the question, why on earth, sorry, the roommate, if you can hear that, I'm so sorry, folks. Why on earth would people say that Harry is not on the driver's side? Well, it could be for this reason. Several months ago, there were a few new commercials on the Uber channel, and Harry Campbell was in them. And these commercials are slick and glossy, and obviously they are very complimentary to Uber, which makes sense. You aren't going to see too many corporations make advertisements that say they suck. Except for Papa John's, during that whole John Schnatter controversy. They made that weird commercial that basically thanked all the people on Twitter for calling them the most racist company in the world. I'm not entirely sure what they hope to accomplish with that, but whatever. And look, I understand why people were upset with him being in those commercials. I was very upset. I was so upset, I actually made like a 34-minute rant video and then sat on it for a couple days and kind of decided, you know what? As upset as I am, he did this for whatever reasons he felt was necessary. He has a family. He has his own reasons for working with Uber. Who knows what I would have done? If Uber called me and said, hey, do you want to make X amount of dollars for being in a commercial? I might do it. You never know. I would like to think I wouldn't, because I personally believe that to be doing projects for Uber themselves would be a conflict of interest. It would hinder my ability to look at their company objectively, or I might be a lot nicer all of a sudden. Who knows? It's kind of like the same reason how Siskel and Ebert, they would consistently turn down cameos in movies because they felt that that was a conflict of interest. If they were in the movies that they were going to review, they might review the movies more positively on that merit alone. So that, for that reason, if Uber was going to hire me, I joke with people privately, like if Uber was going to hire me, the price would have to be like a house or something, because my reputation would be shot at that point, and they have to pay me enough so that I get something real substantial out of it. But that's me, and that's not Harry per se. And Harry, I think, has actually, this shows, like, again, he didn't write the article, but he approved it, and it's on his blog, and he owns this blog. Yes, he's working with Uber on products, but he's also got the media's ear. Every time there's a big story about Uber and their practices, Harry's in almost all of those articles. And he's normally speaking he's actually pretty much always speaking in defense of the drivers. Here he is publishing this huge, long, detailed blog post that shows why Uber drivers are getting screwed and encouraging people to protest. This is not the kind of thing that comes from a guy who is a corporate shill who is not concerned at all about the drivers. He clearly cares about the drivers. He was one himself. He might still be. I don't know how much he drives. It's never come up, but I assume he does at least a little bit of it. So I'm making this video because I know his name's getting dragged through the mud in the message boards, the chats, and I kind of want to say that, look, me and him might have some disagreements. I, again, would never have done the commercials personally. He has. But, I've got sponsors on my videos, including this one. And, I know that sometimes you have to do to make a little extra money. But this blog post says to me, and I would have been saying this whether my video was in it or not, but this blog post says to me that Harry Campbell does have the drivers back. He does care about the drivers. He might not be as outspoken as I am, but he's not an activist either. He is a blogger, and he's giving information, and it's valuable information. So here's the thing. I don't have to agree with everything he does. He probably doesn't agree with everything I do. But he's here to help, and let's acknowledge that and not, crucify the man just because he didn't come to the strike, which he could have had a million reasons of not actually going to the strike. Heck, I almost didn't go to the strike until I was able to move some things around. But if I couldn't move that commitment somewhere else, I would not have gone, and that is the reality of it. So anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it. What do you folks think? Do you agree with me that Harry Campbell is getting a bad rap for no reason? Do you agree he's valuable? Or do you think, no, he's a sellout, he's a corporate shell, I don't like him? You know my stance. I think he's a good guy. I think he's here to help. And I think you should be communicating with him politely, because clearly he will produce articles that talk about these strikes, these protests, and do it in a way that is definitely positive for the driver and not Uber. What says you, though? I'd love to know. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly, and you get access to my exclusive Patreon-only blog. And don't forget to sign up for the Apptrepreneur vlog channel, where we have more news stories, and check out the Apptrepreneur Hangouts on Facebook. It's a private Facebook group, but we're pretty much accepting most people. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.